Here's the backstory on the property that I'm going to be hunting tonight. Landowner contacted me on Sunday saying that he had never seen the hogs destroy his property this bad before, and he's absolutely right. This is a picture of his niece standing next to some of the ruts. She's about 5 foot 5 inches tall, and she's standing next to some ruts that are easily 4 feet deep. So these hogs are definitely destroying the property right now, and in areas that we've never seen before, and also 2 properties over, and I've got access to hunt all of these areas. And so this is what's happened. After Sunday, his nephew, who lives just right down the way, came out and hunted. He stayed out there from 9 o'clock till about midnight. He said that he shot at a sounder. He was only using a flashlight and a 5.56, and I think he shot 2 of them, or at least he heard contact on 2 of them, but he wasn't able to recover them. And then the next night, Monday night, he had some dog runners come out between 8 o'clock until about midnight. They chased, I think he said, 2 hogs, but they weren't able to get on them and or get the hogs. And then Tuesday night, I went out to just get a scan on what it looks like, and it is bad. And so I only stayed out there till about 10 o'clock. I heard them, but they were on adjacent properties, and so I didn't really want to put some pressure on there. So tonight's Thursday. They've had rest on Wednesday night, and so I got onto the game cam, and it doesn't look like these hogs are actually moving till about midnight. It's about 8:30 right now, and so I'm not even going to leave here till about 10 o'clock. But they're mostly coming out between 2 and 4 in the morning. This is definitely going to mess with my circadian rhythm, but as they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And so these hogs have learned to adapt. There's so many guys hunting now with flashlights and thermals. It's just fun chasing hogs and people using dogs. But what surprised me is that they came out even the night after the dogs were out there, so it didn't seem to put a lot of pressure on them. So tonight, I reached out to my buddy Myron, and he's letting me borrow a Thermion XG50. I've got that on there backwards. That's embarrassing. When I was out on Tuesday, one of my main reasons was really to get a view on how this thing worked in. I got it sighted in. And so I'm not going to get out there till maybe about midnight, a little bit before. And then I'm going to hunt till about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's going to really mess with my system. But hopefully we'll get on to some of these hogs. And they're a bunch of babies. There's nothing really big that I saw come in on the game cam. But I do want to put a little bit of pressure on them to try to get them off of that property. But it's just hogs, man. When acorns are dropping, they're going to vacuum the land up. And so wish me some luck tonight. Hopefully we'll get something down and run some Spear 120 grain gold dots through their melon. When I got to the property at 11 p.m., I noticed all the cattle and horses were in the front portion of the field. I checked the weather to see the wind was literally going to be swirling all night long. Around midnight, the cattle came into my hunting area, giving me an opportunity to check out some of the options on the Pulsar Thermion XG50. Here are some of the color palettes. I did not fine-tune the resolution or contrast with each one of the color palettes. Here are all of the crosshairs. I prefer a non-busy reticle and will stick with the H50i. I will do some long-range shooting and play with some of the other reticles. It was relatively quiet for the next hour. I scanned a deer bedded at roughly 75 to 100 yards. It is a very crisp image. Another doe and fawn showed up on the opposite side of the property over 200 yards. This is a native 3x zoom with the picture-in-picture at 6x zoom. At 1:25 a.m., a lone boar entered in the middle of the pasture about 175 yards. I worked up to about 90 yards. He started working to the west, and I was worried he winded me, but he didn't look spooked. I waited for him to pause, and on a side note, the audio did not record on the thermal even though I was certain I turned it on. The first shot was solid. I could hear a good thud. I will slow this section down. You can literally see blood pumping out of him when he turns. He's also not running fast at all. After my second shot, you could literally see blood pumping out of both sides of the spoor. I don't think I made contact with the third shot, but I am fairly confident he is down in the high grass. Just as I expected, they're coming in after midnight. That boar came in at exactly 1:30, and I'm fairly certain that's him right there. He went down, had to take quite a few shots, so I'm going to switch over to the Hammer 124 grain bullets. I know those will drop them on the spot. Around 2 a.m., this egret flew at less than 50 yards at the pond. I played with the color palettes again, and I really like this red hot. 10 minutes later, this possum walked within 30 yards. Again, the image is so incredibly sharp and crisp. At 2:35, I heard a noisy sounder at roughly 175 yards away. I worked up to about 100 yards, and when I got behind my Pulsar Thermion XG50, I was surprised to see the hogs were working my direction. I will confess, I was really tempted to take a shot at this frisky young boar, but I knew it would be better to target the bigger, mature sows, and we'll pick up the action from here. The Hammer 124 Hunter bullet anchored the first sow. After watching my second shot in slow motion, I gut shot the second big sow. Watch her reaction and watch her slow down in her running pace. I really wish you could have heard this piglet pop on my third shot at roughly over 140 yards away. Again, the Hammer 124 grain Hunter bullet anchored this tiny running bacon bit. Blood, blood, and man, this is hog number uno, one of the bigger ones in the group, and she's not that big at all, maybe 140, 50, not that big at all. But that's probably the exit, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, let me roll her over real quick. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, there's the entrance right there, right below the neck. Dropped her. Okay, let's go look for the one I popped over here. Man, I get lucky occasionally. This is about a 140-yard shot on basically a football-sized piglet. I'm gonna guess maybe 40 pounds at most. Tiny guy. Blew right through the spine of this guy. Running too. So the entrance would have been, I don't know. I have to watch that in slow-mo. I can't wait to see that, that's for sure. But that's the exit. Nasty. The first sow was shot at just 60 yards, punching her at 2,663 feet per second, delivering 1,952 foot-pounds of energy. The running piglet at 140 yards impacted him at 2,515 feet per second, delivering 1,741 foot-pounds of energy. Big shout out to Myron of Night Vision Outfitters. I will be demoing this thermal for the next few weeks. Let me know if you have any specific questions about the Pulsar Thermion XG50. I will be doing a full review after I've had a few hours behind this thermal. I need to announce Aboriginal Outdoors as the winner from my last video. He guessed the closest time and when hogs would show up after I put up my feeder. He guessed September the 20th at 2:46 a.m. The first hogs appeared on video on September 20th at 5:40 a.m. Congratulations, and be sure to message me at the email below. This was a fun hunt after spending 10 days hunting elk in Colorado. I'm really itching to get a deer down with my bow this season, so stay tuned for my next adventure.